So it looks like we're back at it again. This thing ran perfect after doing the whole fuel system. Not a hesitation, not a misfire, not a nothing. A couple Fridays ago, I met a friend at Cabela's, went out, had lunch, did a couple of things, came back, started up fine, had a little bit of a high idle, but I figured nothing to be too concerned with. And I went to the stop sign, had to sit there for a little bit, and it died. I got it started again, started right back up, got to the light, was sitting there at an idle, and it died. So the next light, I kept my foot on the accelerator, and I ended up getting it home. Didn't throw any check engine lights. It did throw one on the way home, which was a 44, which was a lean, I think a lean O2 sensor. I don't think this thing has O2 sensors. It's the only thing it threw. And then that code went away after I read it. Hasn't came back since. Haven't had any codes. I messed with it that weekend. I thought I had bad gas in it because I had just filled up that morning, pulled all the gas out of it, put new gas in it, seemed to run fine. Came back, turned it off, took it out again. It would die at a coast, whether it was in gear, coasting in gear, or coasting in neutral. This is a 5-speed, by the way, for those that are wondering why I'm coasting with an automatic. It's not an automatic. So I figured it was something to do with air. I did make it through a week of work. The one day I almost didn't get home. How I deduced that it was something going on with my idle control valve. When it left me stranded and where it would start and immediately die, I took the air cleaner off to see if I could make sure the injectors were spraying properly without any issues. They were, and it stayed running. So that told me that it wasn't getting enough air, because then of course that opens up everything and that. So I got it home. First thing I thought about was this. I pulled it. It was so gunky, it wasn't even funny. So it wasn't allowing the spring, not allowing it to open and close as it should to give you enough airflow. I got a new one, which that was a newer one. It was probably about a year old. I sprayed out all of this with carb cleaner, put it in, ran fine. Took it for a drive around for a while, ran fine. Came home, went to start it up again, and it would die on me again. So I happened to notice I have the old plug in the house, and this is just a temporary fix for now. I want to get the plugs, the appropriate connectors with heat shrink, so that way it's nice and pretty and not having any open areas for water or condensation or anything to get in. I noticed on this plug, I happened to pull it out thinking, well, maybe I just need to reset the sensor and that, or the ECM, I should say. And I pulled it out and I saw something fall, and here a chunk of the connector came off. The clip was already broken off. I noticed that this housing started to break, and one of these pins was pushed far down into the connector. So I ended up ordering a connector for $30. I went to a pick and pull that was open on Sunday. I did buy this connector for $2.50 and I plugged it in. I drove it around, worked absolutely perfect. Not a hesitation, not a stall, not a rough idle, nothing. I thought, yay, I fixed it. Now, I took it for a drive on Tuesday because I was off work on Monday. Actually, I didn't even take it for a drive on Tuesday. I got up, tried to start it, it wouldn't start on Tuesday morning. So that's kind of a pisser for me for work. And I messed around with it on my lunch, and I unplugged the map sensor on it. And it seemed to run fine, which seemed kind of odd. So I started to do so. Maybe it was a map sensor, but this also has that thermic piece of garbage air cleaner in it. So this thing is supposed to help you whenever it's colder outside. It's supposed to bring the air from within the engine into this, so then that way you get warm air going through. It's supposed to start better, run better, blah blah blah. So this thing moves up and down. There's a sensor inside of this stupid thing that you can't find. No idea where to get one of those. I don't even know if this thing's even necessary. So we unplugged this vacuum line and it seemed to run fine and wasn't stalling. So then I thought, well, maybe it's this stupid sensor. But then that didn't make sense, because now today I unplug it and it dies. And this is my new map sensor that I put on, thinking that was a problem. So I am back now to, which I've already removed, EGR, which sits back here, and then also my throttle body gasket. My thought is it's possibly the throttle body gasket. A, this one's pretty well deteriorated. B, when I was spraying this out, it was warm and I noticed that it was sucking carb cleaner up into the throttle body. So that almost led me to believe that the gasket was seeping, which once this warms up, it starts stalling. So I was thinking maybe it's pulling air, so then we're getting a bad air fuel mix because it's pulling more air, or the fuel is coming out. I don't know. EGR, just because I haven't replaced it, it's about the only sensor on this thing I haven't replaced. I've replaced the whole fuel system, basically all of the sensors except for maybe this one. Yeah, I don't know. And the problem is it's not throwing codes. If it was throwing codes, you'd at least have a starting point to figure out where to go. This has no codes. All of this was rebuilt. This has new injectors in it. I rebuilt the whole top end of the throttle body. So, yeah, I guess I'll try the EGR. I'll clean it out since the throttle body will be out of the way. And then pull the throttle body, spray it out as best I can, and see what happens. I know some people say it's the throttle positioning sensor. This has been replaced. The old one was garbage. So I do have a new one of those to try that. Right now I'm just throwing money at it, which I don't like to do, and it's annoying, and I don't know what else is left to replace on this thing. Someone mentioned it could be a bad fuel pump. I just replaced this fuel pump. But it is possible I have a faulty fuel pump. If I have a faulty fuel pump, then that's an issue because I don't really feel like pulling the tank again. Someone else also mentioned that maybe when this heats up, that the coil's getting hot and it's turning off the ignition to it. Well, it stalled when it was cold, so I don't think that's my problem. I took tape to my vacuum lines so I know where they go. Same thing with my injector lines. So when I pull the throttle body, I know where crap goes when I put it back on. But I have a whole kit for the throttle body, so I'll be replacing O-rings for the return and supply fuel lines and that. So, hey, I'll let you guys know if I figure out what's going on here. I mean, like I said, there's not much left to this thing to be replaced, and I'm pretty much at a loss. Like I said, I have two things left. The gasket and the EGR, so I'm fingers crossed one of those fixes it. If not, then it's something that I have replaced that is causing the issue, and it's going to be a challenge to figure out what it is. So wish me luck. Like I said, when I figure this out, I'll post it, because I done some research and it seems like a lot of people had the issue, and some people couldn't even track down the problem. Like, they couldn't determine what the root cause of the problem was. So hopefully I can diagnose this stupid thing and get it figured out. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and like I said, look for the next post.